Everybody says cedar is the best outdoor wood. But in my area, one cedar 6x6 can cost almost $200. That changes the question fast, because the best wood is not always the prettiest wood. It is the wood that survives the job. And here is the strange part. A cheaper board might beat cedar outside, but only if you choose the right one. One oak fights water. Another oak drinks it like a straw. So today, the real answer is hiding inside the wood. A customer called me and asked a simple question. Do you have any cedar? And normally that sounds like an easy question. But if you have been back on this channel before, you know I never answer that first. So first, thank you for coming back. And second, the real question is not, do you have cedar? The real question is, what are you building? Because a chair, a deck frame, a garden bed, and a gate post are not the same problem. They are 4 different battles. That customer wanted cedar because cedar has a reputation. It smells good, it looks good, it works easily, and outside it usually performs better than a lot of common lumber. But reputation does not pay the bill. When a single cedar beam gets close to $200, the project changes. Now you are not just asking, what is the best wood? You are asking, what wood gives me the most life for the money? And that is where the story gets interesting. Most people think outdoor wood is fighting rain. But rain is not the real killer. Trapped water is. A board can get wet and survive. That happens every storm. The problem starts when water cannot leave, under leaves, between boards, against concrete, inside end grain, or down at the ground line. That is where rot begins. Not everywhere at once, at the wettest detail first. That is why the same wood can be great in one place and terrible in another. Cedar on a patio chair? That can be a great choice. Cedar buried in wet soil? Different fight. Pressure-treated pine under a deck? Makes sense if it is rated right. Pressure-treated pine on a picnic table where food, skin, and kids are involved. Now I start asking more questions. The wood is not good or bad by itself. The location decides the rules. So before we name the best wood, we need to name the battlefield. Will it sit in the sun? Will it hold weight? Will it touch food? Will it touch dirt? Will air move around it? Will water have a way out? That last question matters most, because wood does not fail because it gets wet. Wood fails because it stays wet. And once you understand that, the answer changes. Watch how water sheds off a sloped board. Fast runoff, tiny beads, drying surfaces. This is drainage doing the real work. When water moves away quickly, wood stays healthy. Not magic, just gravity and airflow helping longevity. Cedar is still one of the easiest outdoor woods to like. It is light, it is stable, it is easy on tools, and it has natural resistance that helps it outside. For a chair, bench, planter, fence board, or visible backyard project, cedar can be the right answer. But cedar is not magic. It is soft. It can dent. It can split near the ends. And depending on your region, it can get expensive fast. So cedar is not always the best wood. Sometimes it is just the most familiar wood. Redwood, cypress, teak, IPE, mahogany, and other outdoor woods can be excellent too. But here is the problem. A lot of those answers depend on where you live. Redwood may make sense out west. Cypress may make sense in parts of the south. Teak and IPE may make sense for premium projects. But if you're just trying to build something strong in your backyard, those may not be sitting down the road at a price you like. So the best outdoor wood is partly a geography question. Your lumberyard matters. Across the US, outdoor wood choices change by region. Redwood often makes sense out west, cypress in parts of the south. Availability and price decide. Ask your local yard before choosing. Geography matters as much as species. Then there is pressure-treated pine. This is the practical answer. It is available, it is affordable, and for structural outdoor work it can make a lot of sense. Deck frames, stairs, posts, joists, support pieces. But there is a catch. Not all treated lumber is treated for the same job. Above ground is not ground contact. That little tag on the end is not decoration. It is the instruction manual. This is where people get into trouble. They hear treated and think it means invincible. It does not. If the board sits close to dirt, traps leaves, touches soil or cannot dry, it needs the right rating. And if the project is something people touch constantly, eat on or sit around, you should think carefully about where treated lumber belongs. I'm not saying never use it. I am saying use it where it makes sense. For structure, it can be smart. For everything, it is not my first answer. Now we get to the wood I would seriously consider for that customer. White oak, not red oak, white oak. That difference is everything. Red oak has open pores. If you look at it like plumbing, red oak has tiny straws running through it. Water can move through those pores more easily. That is why red oak outside is a mistake for most projects. It may look strong, but outside it can drink water from the inside. Red oak's open pores sip water through the end grain. See how quickly the droplet disappears? Those tiny straws pull moisture inside, speeding decay outdoors. This is why red oak fails outside compared to white oak's naturally plugged pores. White oak is different. Its heartwood has tyluses. That sounds complicated, but the idea is simple. Tiny natural plugs form inside the pores. Those plugs help slow water movement through the wood. And outside, slowing water is a big deal. That is why white oak has been used in barrels, boats, outdoor structures, and heavy-duty work for a long time. It is strong, it is hard, it is durable, and in some regions it can be much more realistic than cedar, redwood, or tropical hardwoods. White oak is not the easy answer. It is the tough answer. But I want to be clear. White oak is not perfect. It is heavier than cedar. It is harder on tools. It can be more work to mill, drill and move. And if you build it badly, it can still fail. That is the part nobody likes to hear. The species matters, but the design matters just as much. A good wood with bad drainage can lose. A cheaper wood with smart drainage can surprise you. Now, for the weird option. What if the wood you have is not cedar, not white oak, not redwood, not anything special? What if it is just pine? There is an old method that changes the surface of the wood with fire. It is called Yakisugi. You may also hear people call it shou, sugi, ban. Traditionally, it is associated with Japanese burned wood siding. The surface gets charred, and that char layer helps protect the wood from weather, insects, and decay. But this is not a magic trick. A light toast is not the same thing. A careless burn can ruin the board, and you still need airflow, drainage, and maintenance. Also, be smart. Have water nearby. Wear eye protection. Do not breathe smoke and dust like it is nothing. But visually, Yakisugi teaches the whole lesson. Outdoor survival is not only about what you buy, it is about how you prepare it. The board matters. The details matter more. Here is the detail I would never skip. Seal the end grain. The end of a board is thirsty. Those tiny tubes are how the tree moved water when it was alive. Outside, those tubes can still pull moisture in. That is why chair legs rot at the bottom. That is why posts fail near the ground line. That is why boards soften where water sits. If the end grain is exposed, protect it, paint it, oil it, seal it, design it so it does not sit in water. Do not leave the thirstiest part of the board unprotected. And do not build water traps. Use narrower boards when you can. Leave clean gaps. Add slope. Keep wood off the ground when possible. Pre-drill near the ends. Use stainless or proper exterior fasteners. And do not let leaves collect in corners. That is not fancy. But it is what makes projects last. The best outdoor wood can only help you so much. If water has nowhere to go, it eventually wins. So, what is the best wood for outdoor projects? If you want easy and beautiful, cedar is still a great choice. If you need structure on a budget, use properly rated, pressure-treated lumber. If cedar is too expensive, white oak may be the sleeper pick. If the wood touches dirt, black locust is one of the toughest natural options. And if you want to transform ordinary wood, Yakisugi is the wild card. But the real answer is this: choose the wood for the battlefield. Then build like water is trying to hide, because it is. Wood does not fail because it gets wet. It fails because it stays wet. Finished surfaces with smart drainage shed water. Beads roll off, the piece rests, and durability climbs. Build so every drop has an exit, because wood does not fail from getting wet, only from staying wet. If this helped you think differently about outdoor wood, I appreciate you being here. And I want to know what you would choose: cedar, white oak, pressure-treated pine, or black locust. Tell me in the comments, because I know some of you are going to disagree hard on this one.